Anybody got a voice in here? Yeah, I hear a voice right here. Anybody got a voice back here? We got teachers. Listen, we have people here from all over this state, from Escambia County, all right, all the way to the Keys. Now, you know what happens? We don't get many hollers from the Keys because they're just waking up right now. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is such an exciting time and opportunity for all of us. I want to, first of all, thank you on behalf of the Florida Education Association for being here today. You thought it not robbery to come and put your voice at what we call the longest table, the biggest table, an exciting time for us to actually talk about what's going on in schools. Now, I don't care if you've been in public education or caring about public education 1 year or 40 years. You've never seen anything quite like what's going on in our schools today, right? Can we all agree with that? Good, bad, and indifferent, okay? And so now, really quick, I know we got people from the community here, but I want to talk to my colleagues for 1 second, because my colleagues be tired. We just finished testing in our schools, right? Right? So we can say this in public. Teachers get tired. Teachers have long days. Every day is not a good day in a public school. But guess what? We're glutton for punishment, and we come back and we give it to them every day, all day, each day, for the benefit of every child that we see. And so, along with that, we have this educational village. We have cafeteria workers. We have secretaries. We have paraprofessionals, teacher assistants, those people who work with our most challenged students every day. As a high school band director, the best friend that I ever had in my high school was a custodian, because he cleaned my stinky room after high school band practice. And he did it with a smile. And he did it with pride, because it was his pride and joy. It was a challenge for him to do it every day. Guess who becomes the most important person in America at 5 o'clock in the morning? The school bus driver. I put my 13-year-old, that's right. I put my 13-year-old on a school bus at 5:30 every morning. I expect that school bus driver to have been up already by 4 o'clock, done an inspection on their bus, checked in their proper protocols, get on the bus, pick up 7 kids before they ever got to my house. At night, in Tallahassee, it gets dark. There are no street lights coming to my house. I expect this bus driver to do that and do it religiously every day. And they pay him $9.30 an hour. And when he gets off that bus, after he's done 2 runs, he goes and cranks up his car and cuts on his Uber lights. And after he does that, he works at the local Walmart until 2 in the morning. That's what's happening in our schools. That's what's happening to the people who take care of kids every day. That is what we're here to talk about today. And yes, we can talk about teachers. I know some of my colleagues that split pills because they cannot afford the proper medication. I know colleagues this year who've lost their homes through no fault of their own. They give to kids every single day. They're doing everything society asks them to do. And they can't pay their bills because we are 46th in the nation. Quick civics lesson, we only have 50 states. We're 46th in the nation in teacher pay. There is a purpose for us being here today. Our college and university professors, they need our help. There is something going on in our universities that think that we can do adjunct professors more than we can do tenured professors. That we can do education on the cheap. What we say at FEA, in Florida, we stack them deep and teach them cheap. We can no longer continue to do that. This public education system is the cornerstone of the American ideal, and why? It's the one place in America where you can go from nothing to something if you learn basic reading, writing, math, and arithmetic. We have got to tell lawmakers that the people don't work for you, you happen to work for the people. And so, let me say this. Today is the first step of a long journey. We're going to ask you a lot of questions. We're going to ask you to solve some of them. I see my folks from Miami here. We're going to ask you to solve some of these problems, but there's no panacea. So I want you to get it out of your head. There's no silver bullet that is going to cause us to go in the right direction just because we came to Orlando today. But we can start the conversation today, and you can dedicate yourself to doing something better, something a little bit more powerful, something a little bit more aggressive, so that next year there's something different about what's going on in our public schools. I love teaching. Don't you just love teaching? I love children in schools. So with all that said, and there's so much to say, I'm going to get out of the way because the conversation is about you. The conversation is about our children. The conversation is about what we will do to make things better for those children. And so we have lots of speakers, but these speakers are not the cornerstone of what's going to happen today. We are going to listen to you. How many times do you say, as a community person, who listened to me? They never even asked me. Today we're asking you. And we're going to ask you to take some action. And we're going to ask you to do certain things. And we're going to ask you what you're willing to do. Because the Florida Education Association, in all of our wisdom, we do not have the answers. We simply do not. The first and most important teacher is always the parent. Always. And so we respect that. We respond to that. And so I want to acknowledge every parent in here. Thank you all for what you do. There is no book to tell you how to be a good parent. You can't wish your way to being a good parent. Because if you know a kid and you know all that they go through, it's a tough job. It's the toughest job I've ever had to do. And I've got 3 kids, and all 3 of them are on different spectrums of education. I love them. They grew up very different from me. And I will just say this as I end this opening salvo. Everything in America says that this guy should not be standing in front of you today. Every statistic in America. Every statistic says a guy from generational poverty who grew up in public housing, whose grandmother rolled pennies and put them in a crate. And when I got ready to go to Bethune-Cookman University, she says, take this money and pay for what you can. She gave it to me in pennies. In pennies. And each one of you has a story. Each one of you has a story about why you're sitting here today. Those stories are important, and that's what we have got to tell because public education helped you in some way. I always say that either we take care of our children or they will take care of us. One way or another. We can't test our way to success. We cannot teacher evaluate ourselves to success. We can't defund our public schools. We can't put administrators who are not ready to lead our schools in these schools, and they're just not ready. This is not a do-as-I-say profession. This is a we profession. This is a collaborative profession. And as a teacher, I don't have all the answers, but Mr. Administrator, neither do you. But if we work together, and if we bring parents to the table, and businesses to the table, and if we figure out a way to get the student voice in there, then we can find out a way how to make our schools better from elementary school all the way through high school.